Florida. Dustin, take it away, pal. What do you have for me? Let me hear.
I love your enthusiasm, Chris. But I think it's kind of unfair to think about Shaun White or to think that he might not be an athlete. And you kind of use golf as an example. That's a bad one. I know some guys that can't walk 10 feet but can shoot at 80. But, you know, we think about the stick and ball sports as being athletic. And then I always go back to race car drivers. Everybody.
I don't think. I've gone through this argument for 40 years. I do not think race car drivers are athletic at all. Myself, I think they have. I think they're fearless, and you can mention the hand-eye coordination until the cows come home. But the machinery is doing the work. The great car wins the races, and you just got to press that gas accelerator, and away you go. I am not a big. And remember, I fought this battle about the race car driver in Central Florida and Jacksonville for about 7 years on a basic day-in, day-out basis. I'm not saying that Shaun White isn't an athlete, and he grew up in the mountains and everything else. Probably was on a snowboard at 2 years of age, and he's a tremendous acrobat. And maybe golf is the wrong sport to bring up, but you wonder if he can do anything else. I mean, can he make a free throw? Can he, can he field the ground ball? Can he hit a softball? Can he, hit a forehand? I mean, I just wonder. Don't bring up golf, fine. I just wonder if he can. I don't know. You tell me. You think he can do those things?
I don't know. I know that what he's doing is certainly athletic, and I don't think that the majority of us could do what he's doing.
I could not do it because I would have fear. I could not go in the middle of the sky 100 feet and do 3 backflips. I would have fear, but I don't know if fear makes you athletic.
I mean, is gymnastics athletic?
I guess yes. From that standpoint, so you think he's a gymnast in the air is what you think, not an acrobat.
I mean, kind of. I see your point, but at the same time, I'm like, I think he's an athlete, man.
I just don't know. When I think of an athlete, I think of somebody who can do a little bit of everything. I think of a guy who can, run around a track without collapsing, which would eliminate 90% of the people who work at Sirius. Eddie Erickson, Jared Moore, Bill Zimmerman. So that I think of an athlete who can walk 18 holes and, can hit a tee shot 260 yards and then follow that up with a 3-wood and knock down a 17-foot putt. In a big spot. I think of a person who can hit a couple of forehands cross court. I think of somebody who can play 3-on-3 basketball and make a shot and run up and down the court without falling down. That's what I think. Could hit a baseball, in Steve Torre's case, slow pitch softball, and be able to poke one in the left field. And I don't know if Shaun White can do any of those things, to be quite honest. Here's Matt in Connecticut. He's aboard. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Matthew, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hey, Dog, how are you?
Matthew, nice to have you aboard. What's on your mind today? What do you have for me?
Thanks for picking up. Going off the previous caller there, you're using our American mainstream sports to define athleticism, and, I'd argue that a guy like Bartolo Colon, who is a pitcher and who's lasted 20 years in Major League Baseball, which is one of our mainstream sports, is not an athlete. The guy can barely get to first base. So, I agree with what you said there in response to the previous caller, but maybe you put Shaun White against some of our American mainstream athletes, who a lot of whom are one-trick ponies, can't make a free throw.
I guarantee you, I don't know this, but and you don't want to say golf's an athletic sport, okay? I probably would guarantee if you saw Bartolo Colon play golf, you'd be freaking impressed. He probably hit the ball 300 yards. I bet you, and you can't hit the ball 300 yards in golf unless you got some athletic gene in you. I bet you if you saw Bartolo Colon, play basketball, he probably can do more than you think. I know he's heavy, he's old, he looks completely out of shape. I get all that, but I don't know. He's a guy that is at 40-something years of age, and he's still going out there competing in a professional sport. Let me see Shaun White win gold medals when he's 42 years old.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I just think that Bartolo maybe he can make a free throw, but why, because Sean does what he does with the snowboard and is a quote-unquote acrobat.
He's an acrobat.
Do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I don't know, but Sean, listen, he's Burt Lancaster. I like to bring him up. He was one of the, and so was Tony Perkins. But Burt Lancaster was a tremendous trapeze guy in the circus. Did you know that? Oh, he was phenomenal. He's one of the great circus acts of all time. This is back in the 30s, but he was in circus fairs all over the place. And Burt Lancaster was a very excellent athlete. Played basketball in high school, very, very good. And, he was a guy who kind of did the same sort of things here that White does, and he was a great athlete. I just wonder if White can do the basic things that you like an athlete. He's great fearlessness, but he's a guy who's, doing things in the middle of the air, and I don't know if that means that he can do the things that I like to see from an athletic standpoint. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Just threw it out there for the hell of it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not going to live and die by that comment. Mike in Yonkers, Mike in Tampa, and he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me?
Chris, how's it going? How's it going, buddy? Good
Mike,
to hear from you.
Nice to have you aboard. What's on your mind today?
Hey, a couple of things. I got 2 points. One about baseball and two, believe it or not, hockey. Hey, what's the point of the Yankees bringing in Russell Wilson? Is that an old George Steinbrenner?
Yeah. Bringing in Russell Wilson is kind of like the Mets bringing in Tebow. I mean,
right.
Why the Yankees? I think he wants to do it. He's a good athlete. I don't know what level of baseball. I mean, Tebow barely got out of high school playing baseball. I don't know if Wilson played college baseball. I think. Oh, he played. That's right. He was drafted by Rockies.
Right, by the Rangers.
That's right. And Tebow wasn't. So he's a little bit more skilled than Tebow would be in this sport. But to me, it's throw something in the dark. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He wants to do it. You might sell a couple of tickets. I can't take it seriously, to be quite honest with you. Go ahead.
So to me, it looks like sticking it to the Mets. But anyway, Team USA going to the Olympics. I turned it on last night. I seen snowboarding. I turned it right off. Went back to the Rangers in the Wild. But Team USA lost to a third world country to hockey this morning.
Oh, they did? I didn't even know they lost to a bad. Who'd they lose to?
Yeah. And let me ask you a question. Since they're having a fire sale down the street with the New York Rangers, everybody, I guess, is portrayed. Is that, you think, in your mind, in your opinion, is that including Lundqvist could be on the?
Well, we're going to talk. We'll talk to Barry Melrose on that very subject a little bit later on today. It's a good question. Justin, who'd the USA lose to today?
Slovenia. Blew a 2-0 lead.
They did, all right, and they got a couple of NHL. Brian Gianta's on the team. They got a couple of U.S. NHL former players.
I don't believe so.
Oh, I thought Gianta was on the team. He is on the team.
He is. Okay.
Yeah, he's on the team. He's ex-Devil, Gianta, little kid. There's a couple, but lots of bad loss. That hockey tournament's a disaster anyway. I can't get into the hockey. I mean, I could get into it if everybody was playing, but I don't blame the NHL. Why should the NHL blow off their 3-month season, their long season for 3 weeks to go play in that? Now, Justin Shackel, by the way, is going to be on. Have you been on the Westwood one yet?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I know Friday morning you're doing your double shift, and
yes.
It's your birthday.
Yes.
So you have done. You didn't think I was going to remember that, did you, Justin? So you have done the morning shifts over there at Westwood one?
Watching luge at 4:30 a.m.
All right. What is live? They got everything live at 4:30. They got it right in front of you, TVs and the whole 9 yards.
Oh yeah. The night session. So they're 14 hours ahead.
Right. So it's 8:30 at night.
Yeah. So the live stuff picks up again. The night session in Pyeongchang starts at 5 a.m. Eastern.
So that's 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So they do the 2 sessions. They do a 7 to 11 at night, and they do an afternoon session for the most part, or a late morning session for NBC.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the skaters have not been pleased with NBC because they're not used to getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning to skate. And they have to because NBC, that's their window for prime time, and they want the skating. So a lot of the skaters have been annoyed, not been on their game. Arena been dead, no energy, because they are not accustomed to competing. It's funny. I'm glad I thought of it. Very rarely, never really is a big game ever start before noon in America. Noon is the earliest. Baseball playoff game, an NFL playoff game. Regular season, they'll play some college football games at 11 a.m. locally. But very rarely will any big event start at noon. Anytime. Because they won't do that to the athlete. They make them, they're not used to it. Yet in the Olympics, because of the time difference and NBC spending all the money, they make the big event, the athletic people, play at compete at 11 o'clock. That's tough. 10 o'clock.
That is rough for an athlete. Think about that.
10 o'clock in the morning. You're not used to it. Anyway, have you had a good time on Westwood One?
Yeah, love it.
You do.
I've really gotten into the events because you're learning more and more about the athletes and their background and what they're going for.
Right,
so that makes it fun.
If you didn't have to do this, would you pay any attention to it?
Well, no, I'm not getting up at that time.
Well,
or I'm not watching replay either.
Well,
no.
would you watch it 8 o'clock at night live?
No.
You would not.
No.
So your job has made you get into it, and you're into it.
Yeah.
Justin Shackle. Much better than Steve Torrey. Deneroff, the president of Westwood, called me and said, "Can I use Steve I would use Steve for 5 days. I'm not in love with him. He got somebody else, so I recommended Shackle, and Shackle now hitting a home run." We continue here on Mad Dog Unleashed with an update. Don't go away.